as is our final movie, which I had no transition for.
Yeah. Dun,
Dun dun dun
dun,
dun.
dun, 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 dun.
So this movie is kind of proof that Hollywood has always been uncreative and has been interested in getting a quick payday from a recognized franchise.
Yes, yeah. Although I will give him some credit for making it a comedy and not a serious drama like the TV show was.
Yes. Yeah, it's
Um,
kind of interesting, isn't it? Because it kind of did the thing that the Starsky and Hutch movie and the 21 Jump Street movies did, where it took the basic premise and then just made it a little bit ridiculous.
yeah, um, yeah. We with this Dragnet, we got Dan Aykroyd playing Joe Friday, although different Joe Friday. He's not the Jack Webb Joe Friday.
He's his nephew, yeah.
Right. And sorry, I swallowed the wrong way. They yeah, so he's working in the city, Los Angeles, California, and he's basically just like his uncle, only probably more on the spectrum.
Yes, this is like pitch perfect casting for Dan Aykroyd because he comes across like this in most of his movies anyway. This is just ramping up the ramping up the tism to maximum effect.
Yes. And the movie starts off where his partner retired, and so he gets a new partner in Pep Strebeck, who's played by Tom Hanks, and of course, and it's the classic dynamic where you got the straight laced, by the book detective with the carefree, do whatever I feel like detective.
Right. Tom Hanks is basically playing Axel Foley.
Right. Yeah. Um, and So they get partnered up and they have to investigate a series of robberies, and they're all related to this group or organization called Pagan, and Pagan is an acronym. I can't remember what the
People against goodness and normalcy.
yes, yeah. um, and they go to the zoo and they find a bunch of animals have been taken, like a snake and what
A
was the other?
bat.
A bat, yeah, and a
They,
lion.
oh, they shaved a lion's
Well,
mane,
they shaved the lion's mane, yeah.
which led to a funny scene uh, where Tom Hanks says, "Yeah, you can calm down a bit. Calm down. These children have probably never seen a lion before. How are they supposed to know that they grow back?" Tom Hanks, "Hey kids, they grow back. Yay!"
Yay! Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and so then the other part of it too is we meet this televangelist character. What was his name? Worley, Father Worley, who's played by Christopher Plummer, and he kind of the TV persona of him was I thought kind of funny because if you watch enough like televangelists, like they all act like that.
yeah,
Like
no, it was a pitch perfect parody of an 80s
yeah,
televangelist. You also had somebody who was clearly supposed to be Hugh Hefner
oh
as
yeah,
as one of the other victims of the crimes they're investigating.
yeah. And although I don't remember Hugh Hefner having that much of a lisp.
N- No, and actually no, maybe he's like a mix of Hugh Hefner and Larry Flint.
Oh, probably, yeah. Um, but yeah, there's some funny bits early on in the movie, where Friday is just being a little too uptight.
Right. Like he's there in the middle of a car chase and he goes, what reckless endangerment, three different near collisions, disobeying the speed limit. And Tom Hanks is like, yeah, we've got him on the are you just racking up the crimes for him, huh? No, I'm
Yeah,
talking about you.
yeah.
Um, so I would say this movie has so it has a few comedic things it's going to pull. This is definitely Dan Aykroyd's movie.
Oh yeah, it
Uh,
is. Yeah.
he is the narrator for most of it. He is the point of view character. He is having so much fun doing the Dragnet monologues.
Yeah.
This is like perfect casting for him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is interesting because I could have actually believed him. Like if he had been Joe Friday, I think he could have actually pulled it off.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah, I think especially today. Yeah, if he was playing them now. Yeah.
Right. Maybe at the time he would have been too young and silly to be too believable as the hard ass. But
Yeah. Another member of the cast forgot to mention was their captain.
oh yeah,
Yeah, Captain Gannon, who's played by Harry Morgan, and then I think that's the same character he played in the TV show.
that would
Um,
okay. I didn't make that connection because I only know him from MASH.
yeah, that's where most people remember him. But yeah, he was also on Dragnet.
Oh yeah,
Um,
so okay, there. So he was okay.
mm,
That so that's even like the thing that they would do where they would have the returning character to add legitimacy to the remake.
right. Yeah.
Um, so I would say that some of the funny things in this movie, when I say funny, I should say interesting things in the movie.
Yeah.
Um, First off, it appears to be the only major or only theatrical movie that was directed by Tom Mankiewicz, who, besides being involved some with the Christopher Donner Superman movies, was also a pretty prolific screenwriter. He did three of the 70s James Bond movies.
Yeah.
Um, and it's shot pretty well, from my amateur opinion.
Mhm.
Um, I would say that the movies, and also it also features a future Baywatch actress,
Oh,
Alexandra Paul, as the Virgin Connie Swale,
yeah.
who is very much a plot device slash wish fulfillment for Dan Aykroyd,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because she just immediately falls for him. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a part in the movie where they end up going to dinner at the Brown Derby, um, which is for those of you who don't know, is a famous LA restaurant. My grandfather used to eat there all the time when he because I think his office was actually just down the street from there. Definitely a jacket and tie place. They had I think Aykroyd even mentions, just order your Cobb salad and be quiet or something like
Right?
that.
Don't not ordering anything more expensive than a Cobb salad.
Yeah.
But as far as other interesting details, I would say that the movie, okay, like I said, it kind of has the one joke: Dan Aykroyd as the hard ass doing the Dragnet thing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it's not its only joke, but it's basically the humor of it, because it's like, well, what if you take a 50s or 60s style hard ass detective and throw him up against the nonsense in 1980s LA?
Yeah. And partner him with a total smart ass.
Right, smart ass degenerate. Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of comedy to be mined from that. I think the problem is that the movie kind of uses up its best set piece very early on,
Mhm.
specifically when they're doing a raid on the pagan society.
Oh yeah.
Like it never quite hits that high again, unfortunately.
No. Yeah, there's also another one where they raid they're doing a raid with the tank, and it doesn't go well. I don't want to spoil what happens in there, but it doesn't. Yeah.
No, but I will say it is kind of predictable.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and it kind of meanders a bit, right around the time, right around the aforementioned Brown Derby dinner. That's kind of when it gets a little.
little slow.
A little
The
slow.
issue, yeah, the issue is kind of that it's an interestingly conceived of mystery because you kind of okay, as the audience, I think that you kind of saw it coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
And when they reveal who the leader of Pagan is, it's like, okay, we kind of know what the end set piece is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought well, I'll say the one ending part was pretty funny, with the car chase. Or just close your eyes and think of Christmas.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting where the two bleed into each other, like where Dan is being a little more free spirited and off the cuff, and Tom is being much more of the rules bound guy.
Yeah, he dresses down an officer at one point.
Mhm. But it's like it definitely peaks in like the first or second, or yeah, first half.
Yeah,
Um, but what's there in the back half isn't bad. It just doesn't quite measure up to the first part. And also by that time, the bit was starting to get a little bit stale.
yeah, yeah. Although the line, thank God it's Friday.
Yes, as he shows up to rescue them, that
Yeah,
was great. Like there were good lines throughout. It's not like it be like there have been things we've watched that just completely go off the rails at the end. This is not one of them.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fairly decent comedy. But it's not their, when I think of classic '80s comedies, this usually doesn't come to my mind right away. It'll only come to my mind if somebody mentions it.
Yeah, and I've been meaning to watch this one for a while, just out of curiosity, because my dad has mentioned the ending joke to me a couple of times, which
Oh
I
yeah,
won't spoil.
yeah, yeah,
The other weirdness with this movie is that okay, so I was watching it, the opening, and they start playing the Dragnet theme, that
yeah,
dun 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 dun, and I think to
yeah,
myself, man, that is such an iconic TV theme. You know, even if you've never actually seen the show, it's stirring, and once you know what it is, you never lose the association. What a great TV theme! You never actually have any reason to mess with it.
yeah,
No, and it sounds like I'm doing a bit, but literally not 10 seconds later starts the bad late 80s style Dragnet rap.
yeah.
Like
Uh,
they were trying so hard to make another Ghostbusters happen in terms of a hit theme song.
yeah, and it didn't work.
No. And then what was funny was over the end credits they had a similar sort of thing that was a style of music I didn't know or a style of song I didn't know existed in the 80s, which is basically like the YouTube poops where they take like a character's dialogue and they songify it. And they did that to Dan and Tom's dialogue from the movie.
Yeah, yeah, and I think there were some movies in the '80s or the '90s that I think did that too. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but yeah, I was really hoping that that was a trend that would die. I mean, I guess it probably it might have died, but then now it's come back, and it's like, oh no,
Yeah, at least now it's usually fans making weird remixes with it. But
yeah,
yeah, I think that we're both kind of in the category of this kind of reminds me of the secret to my success or of my success, whatever that movie was actually called, that
yeah,
we reviewed a couple months back, where it's like it is a totally fine 80s comedy that kind of peaks, although I'd say this has a more solid story than that one.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
Moderate recommend.
yeah. Yeah, and as DB said at the top of the review, it's on Netflix if you're interested. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think we've said all we need to say